Hello, everyone. Thanks for the previous speakers. You will see some of the bridging also to the previous speakers' messaging, both on the romantic pictures from the Angelina, also for the dual use from the legal perspective, and also NATO Innovation Fund mentioned example. My name is Kristaps Banga. I have been flying in around the space for the last 3 years. My role is basically bringing business to the companies and explaining how space is relevant to any industry. And this is so. I'm working across all the globe with the different regions, with the different industries, and I can really assure you that space technologies is applied to any of our industries. But let you give a little bit of a context of a dual use. So climate change is not anymore just an environmental challenge. We see, and you will see also in a minute in the pictures, this is really a lot also on a business agenda. This is a lot on the municipalities' agenda outside the environmental topic as well. And on top of that, we all know in what context we are currently geopolitically living. So there is intensive hybrid attacks, cyber attacks, not even mentioning military attacks, which gives even bigger pressure to what's happening globally. And interesting is that technologies which is actually capturing and then giving this data were born at the Cold War, satellites. Satellites at that point, as mentioned, was more like a kind of power representation of some of the big countries. And also, of course, that was intelligence of the data about other countries, right? So now, this intelligence is actually brought towards the more commercial segments, and is also possibilities to understand how the infrastructure and critical infrastructure is affected, yeah? But it's not only about the data. I don't know, maybe some of you already know what is the loop. So it's actually coming the roots from the US Air Forces as a combat operation framework. And why it's actually applicable also for the business and governments and sustainability, because that follows the same kind of principles about observe, orient, decide, and act. And if we talk today a lot about the observation, yeah, so data through the satellite communications are bringing much more data on the table. There was mentioned a lot of what are the quantities of the satellites and so on. So there is much more data to be consumed, but actually more important is about another emerging tech stack is about how you orientate. What are the algorithms, what you do actually with those data, how you detect those very important insights, and where you need that, so you can really be and do these decisions and much more data-driven. And today, with the possibilities of all these satellites flying so many times around, so the frequency is really dynamic, so it's really close to the real time. Yeah? And again, combining with another different technologies, these decisions could be already even automated. So the actions on this stage act could be triggered automatically, whether this is, again, on the defense activities, launching some of the drones or whatever, or whether that's also impacting some other activities. And let me bring you some of the examples about what are these actions and how these could be seen. So one of the examples is, for example, shadow shippings, right? Mixing those different technologies with AI, it was able, let's say, to prove and follow up on some of the, and here you see an example of the shadow shipping, just by applying these methods, just by tracing back some of the trajectories where one ship was appearing, and so on. So this is through the Earth observation and applying AI. But of course, that could be also applied much more for the commercial or sustainable use. So one of the topics Angelina already mentioned today is about the natural disasters. We know about the floods, but also some of the regions struggle a lot with the wildfires. And as I said at the beginning, this is not anymore just an environmental topic. Yeah, we see countries really spending a lot of the money because that's about the people's lives. So this is really taking a different scale of an agenda. Yes, that could be tackled by combining these different technologies, different patterns of the satellite data, triggered with these automatical actions based on these decision points. And for example, there is one of assets we have developed as a flood mitigation response application. Yeah? Previously, by NATO Innovation Fund was mentioned about the special hyperspectral startups, scale-ups, companies who can detect hidden for human eye objects, and that's by the hyperspectral. For example, satellites, where human eye will not be able to detect camouflage tanks, for example, but hyperspectral, that's basically a day job. Again, on a dual use, similar to what Angelina showed with the nice pictures through the hyperspectral, you can go really into the depths of different insights. For example, whether there is some water quality issues, whether there is some different species of the vegetation, or whether there is some actually defects happening, for example, methane gas leakage. Yeah? Again, with a human eye, you will not be able to detect, but methane emission detection is also one of the actual use cases across the, for example, research, oil and gas companies. Another thing, once you work at scale and you have these good quality pictures, what you can do, you can develop a different type of a digital twins, whether it's really on the city scale. For example, we work with one of the cities which is based in the region where is quite, let's say, heated areas. And they are interested, okay, how we should be building the urban area. Where is the shadows, at what time of the day it's the shadows, which are the areas, for example, is less shadowed, how we can actually cool down the city, yeah? Where we need to put a rooftop, I don't know, pools, or do building differently, yeah? And again, you can combine these technologies by different also spectral data. On the other hand, on the dual use, probably you know this term line of the sight, yeah? So applying the same digital twin of the municipality, basically city can use the same twin both for the defense reasons, for civil defense, and both also for the city development, yeah? Communication, navigation also was mentioned a lot with the famous guy with letter E. But he is not alone, right? We know that there's also some other big guys with ambitions from Amazon and so on, also want to play in this low orbit satellite era. And there is a reason, yeah? So it's not only about bringing connectivity just for us who live somewhere, maybe rural areas, but that's actually really bringing connectivity where connectivity was not before. Yes, yesterday there was, let's say, other business cases like building let's say, private 5G networks, but you can imagine the business case, whether you hang out two low-orbit satellites and subscription fee, or you build your own 5G network, yeah? So different use cases, I will not go into the details just because of lack of the time. Last but not least, about the security, again, defense industry for day one, having a very important topic about the communication, encryption, and security. But this is, again, no longer just agenda for the defense industry. This is for the strategic different critical infrastructures, telecommunications, banking industries, whatsoever. So it's important that companies look on this already today. Thank you.
Thank you.